Okay, so I am going to do a series of very brief videos showing how to do this cost volume profit project. And the first thing I want you to notice here is that I've got the direction sheet open right here and also my data input sheets open. The way you do that in Excel in the Mac version is you got to go up to a menu bar, the menu bar that you can't actually see on this recording. It's up at the very top, and you go to the window and then you say new window, and it'll open up a second iteration. So you can have two windows side by side, which is a good idea because we're going to be entering data over here, and we're going to be getting our data that we're going to enter as well as all of our hints and help over here. So that's the first thing, is you want to make sure that you have these two windows open so you can see what you're doing and enter all your assumptions. Okay, so this is the first thing we're going to do. We're going to go to the starting file and we're going to enter our assumptions. And the way that we do this, and I want to note that this project is actually quite realistic. This would be a typical sort of thing that maybe someone who doesn't have any kind of financial background would want to know, or should want to know anyways. You know, how much do I have to sell of these two products in order to make an operating income of $8,000 a month? It's a reasonable level of income, and it's a reasonable question to ask, and we now have the tools to be able to answer it. So the first thing we need to do always when you're doing spreadsheets like this is you want to keep your assumptions separate from everything else, right? So the way that I set up my spreadsheets, it's a convention that I started years and years ago when I was first starting out in my career, is I make it basically idiot proof, right? You should really clearly indicate which cells you are allowed to enter data into and which you are not. And so in this case, I have left my cells that are white to indicate to you guys as you're doing this project which cells can have data entered into them, and then those that are colored or that are shaded like this are actually calculated cells. So if we look through our starting file in general, right, all of these are calculations. They should not have any new input put into them. So you will see that again and again when you're working with the spreadsheets that I set up. Okay, so let's just quickly go through and enter our assumptions and then take it from there. So we have our Launch It product at a sales price of $10, and then we can have our variable cost purchasing from the supplier of $1, and our shipping was $2, and our commissions are going to be calculated value, and you'll notice that the cell is gray here. That means that it's a calculated value, so we hit equals, and then it was 10% times the $10, giving us a total variable cost per unit. Again, this is a calculated value, so the gray cells indicate that, and it's going to be the sum of all of these guys up above, just like that. Very simple. Let's make these dollar signs just to help us stay clear in our mind what we're dealing with here. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, so our treat time. Oh yeah, and another piece of data we expect to have 200 launches. So let's say we expect to sell 200 launches. So 200 right there. And this is not entered as a dollar sign, right? So the treat time product is $30 in sales price, and then we have a purchase of $7, shipping and handling is $8. Commissions also are going to be 10%, 0.1 times the sales price up there, which calculates to 3. Our total is going to be, again, just as before, the sum of these three up above. And we can change those to dollar signs, just like we did above. And there's that. And then we have a monthly volume expectation for the treat times of 100 units. Now we also were provided with fixed costs, and one of the things that I want to note is that the information that you're given in your sort of cost assumptions, you know, they're not lined up. One of the challenging things here is that you got to like kind of dig for separating out the information into a way that you can make sense of it. And again, it's not that I'm trying to torture you. This is just pretty standard, right? This is how you would be provided with information. It's up to us as analysts to turn it into a format that we can use. So we have the work contract is $1,000 a month, so that's salary down here, and $500 a month on trade show entry fees. So those are the booths that I'm calling it. All right, so there's our total fixed cost. Then is going to be the sum of those two, which is $1,500. We also are told that we want to earn $8,000 a month in operating income, which is $800. And then also we expect that over year, we're going to grow this business at 5%. Okay, let's put these as dollar signs. And that, my friends, is how you enter your assumptions.